The dinner plates are still warm when someone mentions church, and the room suddenly feels smaller. Your adult child no longer shares your faith, yet you want to remain faithful without turning every visit into pressure. That is the dilemma we will face honestly. A change in belief can alter familiar rituals, holiday prayers, Sunday calls, a grandchild's questions, even the words that once made everyone feel at home. Grief may arrive before you know what to call it. Fear can quickly interpret difference as danger, rejection, or personal failure. Pause before giving that fear authority. An adult's convictions belong to an adult conscience. Their beliefs do not, by themselves, reveal contempt for you, a ruined character, or a final spiritual destination. The first faithful act may be to recognize the changed ground without declaring the relationship lost. Shared faith once carried part of your closeness. Now love must learn to stand where certainty about another person's path is unavailable. What exactly are you grieving? Your child's present beliefs, the future you pictured, or the fear that your family story has broken? Those losses can overlap, yet they should not be placed entirely on the adult child's shoulders. Grief deserves a truthful place. Bring it to prayer, a trusted pastor, a wise friend, or a qualified counselor when support would help. Asking the child to repeatedly relieve that grief can turn ordinary contact into an emotional examination they never agreed to take. Careful language changes the atmosphere. "I am still adjusting and I care about our relationship," owns the parent's experience. "You have destroyed everything we taught you," assigns a sweeping verdict and leaves no room for the other adult's account. A relationship can contain sorrow without making sorrow its organizing principle. Once grief has another place to be held, family contact gains breathing room. That space prepares us for a harder question. What responsibility remains yours when the person you raised now answers for a life of their own? When your child is grown, what does faithful responsibility still require? Many parents carry an old reflex: protect, instruct, correct, prevent harm. Adulthood changes the reach of those duties, even when love remains fierce. Your sphere includes your conduct, your words, your home, your financial choices, your apologies, and the spiritual practices you freely choose. The adult child's conscience, identity, private decisions, and response to your faith sit outside your command. Influence may remain, but influence is neither ownership nor control. This distinction can feel like surrendering the parental role. In reality, it asks that the role mature. A parent can speak honestly when invited, live consistently, refuse cruelty, and stay attentive to genuine safety concerns. None of those actions requires managing another adult's beliefs. Responsibility becomes clearer when separated from outcome. You are accountable for whether your love is truthful and honorable. You cannot be accountable for producing a chosen ending inside someone else. Next comes the uncomfortable part, examining how parental fear may have shaped the relationship. Suppose your adult child says faith felt tied to criticism, fear, or the need to perform. Must you accept every interpretation to take that account seriously? No. Honest listening can recognize impact without pretending that memory is simple or that every conclusion is shared. Begin with examination rather than defense. Perhaps apologies were rare in your home. Maybe questions received quick correction when curiosity needed room. Family habits might have confused obedience to God with keeping a parent calm. Those possibilities call for courage, not self-condemnation. A grounded response could sound like this: "I may remember parts differently, but I want to understand what my actions were like for you. Where I caused harm, I want to take responsibility." Such words do not purchase agreement. Repair loses its integrity when offered as a bargain for renewed belief. Your task is to own what evidence and conscience reveal, then change the conduct within reach. Their spiritual conclusions remain theirs. With responsibility clarified, hidden forms of leverage become easier to notice. Can a generous act become pressure even when it begins with sincere concern? Yes. Money, childcare, holiday invitations, housing, medical help, and treasured family traditions can acquire unspoken conditions. Attend church, conceal your identity, permit a religious argument, or reassure the parent that nothing important has changed. Leverage is often quiet. A gift may be followed by reminders of sacrifice. Affection may cool after an unwelcome answer. Every crisis becomes an opening for a sermon. The parent may intend rescue while the adult child experiences a debt that can never be settled. Intent deserves consideration, though impact also requires attention. Ask whether the same care would remain available if no spiritual conversation followed. Notice whether disappointment is being communicated through withdrawal, money, access to relatives, or repeated guilt. Faithful conviction does not need those tools. Truth spoken under relational or financial pressure is harder to receive as truth. It arrives attached to a demand. Removing leverage does not erase belief. It allows love to stop functioning as a concealed contract. How does love remain honest once the hidden contract is removed? Start by making gifts, invitations, and affection mean what they appear to mean. A birthday call is a birthday call. Dinner is time together. Help offered within your means does not become evidence in a later spiritual argument. Conviction still has a voice. You need not pretend all beliefs are interchangeable or hide the Christian commitments that shape your life. Choose transparency over surprise. My faith remains central to me. I also want our time together to be more than a debate. States two realities without demanding a response. Freely given love has limits. It is not endless access or automatic financial support. Its defining quality is that boundaries are disclosed honestly and connected to capacity or conduct. Disbelief alone is not treated as a debt. Once leverage is removed, conversation can become more genuine. Neither person has to wonder whether a meal, favor, or invitation is bait. The next step is learning how to speak about faith when both adults retain the right to answer freely. What changes when a parent asks permission before beginning a faith conversation? The adult child gains a meaningful choice, and the parent learns whether the moment can hold the subject without force. Try a brief question. Would you be open to hearing how I understand this? Permission may be granted, declined, or postponed. A refusal is information about the conversation, not proof of hostility or a final verdict on faith. Respecting the answer protects the honesty of any future exchange. Curiosity also needs restraint. One sincere question can invite depth. 6 questions in succession can feel like cross-examination. Listen for the account actually offered, rather than preparing a correction while the other person speaks. Thomas in John 20 provides a limited parallel. His doubt is voiced and met directly rather than erased through humiliation. Yet that encounter carries Christ's authority and cannot be reproduced as a parental technique. Your child is not Thomas in a predictable sequence. Permission does not weaken witness. It places a conversation on adult ground where truthful words can be offered without seizing another person's conscience. Once permission is given, what keeps the conversation from becoming a disguised hearing? Reflect the meaning you heard before evaluating it. I hear that you experienced those years differently than I did. Confirms attention without claiming identical memories or theological agreement. Ask what the person wants you to know now, or which subjects feel possible to discuss without damaging the visit. Leave room for an answer that challenges your self-image. Defensiveness may rise. A pause can prevent it from taking control. I do not share that conclusion, and I respect that you have considered it. Avoids false agreement while recognizing adult agency. Should the exchange become heated, ending it gently may serve truth better than forcing completion. Listening is not a strategy for earning a later turn. It has value even when the child never adopts your view. Such respect makes the next distinction possible. Beliefs may differ deeply, while behavior still determines what is safe and acceptable inside a relationship. When should a parent set a firm boundary? Begin by naming the conduct rather than making the boundary a punishment for belief. Declining church, questioning doctrine, adopting another faith, or claiming no religion is disagreement. Threats, insults, intimidation, exploitation, coercion, property damage, and abuse concern behavior and safety. The distinction applies in both directions. A parent should not demean the adult child's convictions, and the child should not be permitted to ridicule, threaten, or control the parent. Shared dignity does not require shared theology. Romans 12:18 calls believers to pursue peace as far as it depends on them. The wording itself recognizes a limit. One person cannot manufacture mutual peace. That passage does not require remaining in a dangerous room or tolerating mistreatment to prove Christian love. Clear boundaries identify an observable action and the response within your control. I will end the call if either of us begins insulting the other, addresses conduct consistently. The boundary protects a condition for contact. It does not demand religious conformity. How can a boundary protect safety without becoming another instrument of control? Keep it specific, proportionate, and connected to what you will do. When shouting begins, "I will leave and we can reconsider contact later," is clearer than declaring someone spiritually unsafe because of disagreement. Consequences should match conduct. A tense comment may call for a pause. Repeated harassment may require reduced contact. Threats, stalking, violence, coercive control, or exploitation can require stronger safety measures and qualified local help. Forgiveness language must never be used to rush a person back into danger. Consistency also tests fairness. Would the same rule apply to a church-going relative who behaved identically? A belief-neutral answer helps reveal whether the boundary protects dignity or punishes difference. Some situations are too complex for pastoral education alone. Legal questions, mental health crises, domestic abuse, and emergencies need appropriate professionals or emergency services. Seeking such help is compatible with compassion. A sound boundary does not predict reconciliation. It makes present conduct legible and preserves the possibility of contact only where safety and respect allow it. What kind of hope remains when you cannot know where your child's path will lead? Luke 15 gives us an image of compassion without handing parents a forecast. Speaking of the younger son's return, the KJV says, "But when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him, and had compassion, and ran, and fell on his neck, and kissed him." The father's welcome is vivid. Still, the parable is not a timetable, and your adult child is not a character whose ending you have been shown. Compassion can shape your posture while the outcome remains hidden. The story also includes the elder son, whose resentment and sense of deserving expose another spiritual danger. A parent focused only on someone else's distance may overlook pride, comparison, or anger growing close to home. Luke 15 invites self-examination as well as longing. Hope then is not confidence that you can produce a return. It is confidence that compassion, repentance for your own wrongs, truthful conviction, and open-hearted welcome remain faithful choices wherever another person stands. What can you faithfully carry forward after releasing the ending? Keep your convictions honest, your apologies unqualified, your invitations free of traps, and your boundaries tied to behavior. Let prayer become a place where fear is surrendered, rather than a private rehearsal for controlling the next conversation. There may be warm contact, strained contact, long silence, or changes no one can foresee. None of those conditions grants apparent knowledge of the adult child's inner life or final spiritual story. Your calling is measured by the faithfulness of your own response, not by possession of another person's timeline. Love can remain available without chasing. Hope can remain alive without making claims God has not given you. Peace may be pursued without denying danger. Truth may be spoken without turning affection into payment. For more calm, thoughtful guidance on loving faithfully through complicated family seasons, you are welcome to subscribe to Quiet Grace Daily. Today, choose one action within your care. Remove a hidden condition, offer an honest apology, ask permission before a difficult subject, or make one behavior-based boundary clear. Then leave the response where it belongs.